Should we feel sad for Miller, or should we feel sad for everyone else that has to deal with Miller? Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Unlocked, a Jail Experiment, Season 1, Episode 2, and I'm going to cover Episode 3. So, they let them out of their cells, and these fools are acting like they're free, like they are in the free world. But I guess compared to being in that closet for 23 hours a day, they do feel free. So they're acting crazy, telling the CEOs to get the hell out. And immediately, the enforcer Randy and Squirrel, the two old heads, are enforcing rules. Eastside was behind the CO desk and they told him to get away from the desk. And if you gonna smoke, smoke over here. And the young ones are pretty much like, we're over this. We do not have pod bosses. We do not have COs. These old heads are tripping and they want to act like they're the police. And the argument breaks out between the OGs versus the youngins. Are we shocked? Shouldn't be shocked at all. We get introduced to Mayhem. He's 21 years old, and this is the way that he talks about himself. Mayhem is crazy. Mayhem is crazy about his family. Mayhem is crazy about his daughter. Mayhem like green eggs and ham. He is in there for capital. You know what I mean. The highest of the highest when it comes to felonies. And he said the worst thing about his situation is not being able to see his daughter. And he's hoping that he can see his daughter again. I hope you mean see her behind the prison walls because, baby, a capital charge, unless it was self-defense, you gonna be in there for a while. Second hour being out, and these fools are smoking coffee sticks. I guess they have created some form of cigarette using coffee because they're not allowed to smoke cigarettes. Maybe I'm old school, but I thought cigarettes were like a thing in jail and it was allowed, especially during rec time. I thought that was like a big bargaining tool as far as boxes of cigarettes in jail. Maybe I watched too many shows and movies, but I don't know. I guess they can no longer smoke cigarettes, so they're kind of making up these coffee sticks. Now, the old heads are not feeling this because, of course, they're already smoking and feel like they're going to mess up everyone's opportunity. Tiny, aka Mr. Poker, aka the real life Chucky doll, is talking about his son who is 14 right now. And the last time he actually saw his son, he was 3 years old. And Tiny says he feels like he is less of a man because he can't do what needs to be done as a father. And I actually respect him for that because some would say, well, I didn't have a father, so he'll be all right. Tiny feels like, this open door opportunity is a great way for him to connect back with his son. And I'm feeling that with Tiny. Like, Tiny seems like his son will help him keep his sanity in there versus thinking about poking people. Child, it looks like Randy is the hairstylist of the unit. He was twisting or braiding someone's hair, but at the same time wants to still be the enforcer for the food, for when they distribute the medicine. And he says that they're on a timer to eat. They only get 15 minutes to eat. I'll be damned if you only give me 15 minutes to eat. That is ridiculous. Like, I wonder if they have like acid reflux because they have to scarf down that food so fast. So he's telling the young heads. Now, mind you, he's never saying anything to the OGs. He's only telling the youngins when their 15 minutes are up and they have to go back to their rooms. And the youngins are over it. And Randy is cool, but he don't know how to talk to people. And there's a right way to talk to folks. And I'm like, I could see that. Randy makes it seem like he's level-headed, but he's not. And the old heads say that they need to have a meeting that night because if one person messes up, then they all mess up. I'm going to need the OGs to follow their own advice. Okay? So then we see that the COs, of course, are still watching the inmates from the cameras. And Sheriff Higgins says that the first 24 hours will be the test on if there will be problems. And as soon as he says the word problems, we get introduced to Miller, David Miller. David was a manager at Wingstop. He has a culinary degree and a business management degree. And I was like, well, what in the hell happened to you? Well, this 43-year-old is in there for domestic battery. And we see a picture of him with a dotted I. So I would like to know what happened. But with that being said he's never had to be in jail like this before. He's never done anything to be in jail like this before. Well, when he said that, he never said he's never been to jail. He's just said he's never really done time like this before. So I would like to know the other times that he was in jail, what was it for? Has he had domestic issues in the past and he never just really received jail time and then they finally got tired of his nonsense? Who knows? But with that being said, we see that Miller is a problem in the H unit. A lot of the inmates don't like Miller. Okay. And we see Miller and two inmates are about to play dominoes. And Miller accuses one of the inmates, I think his name is Finch, of cheating. And in jail, that's a big no-no. You can't accuse people of cheating. You can't accuse people of snitching. And the next thing you know, Finch gets up and he is ready to whoop on Miller. Miller looks scared as hell and he looks caught off guard. Miller says that they think that they can talk to him however they want, but when he gives them a taste of their own medicine, there's a problem. And honestly, I can see that. And I can also see them not liking Miller because you can tell he's really not about that life. He's easy to pick on. But let them tell it, Miller has a mouth. But they all have mouths. So I'm confused. I don't know, y'all. What do you think about Miller? Do you think Miller is the bully or is Miller being bullied? Y'all let me know. So they have a meeting and Squirrel is talking and he is making a lot of sense about having rules and authority. But they're all rebels, including the OGs, so they don't want to listen to that. But the other problem that I have you noticed that they all talk really loud and with a lot of aggression? Like they all sound like DMX. God rest DMX soul. I guess that's what made DMX also a very popular rapper. But his voice, he always sounded like he was screaming at people. He has so much aggression behind his voice. That's the way these gentlemen sound in jail. I'm going to call it the jail voice. So they have their first night with the doors unlocked, and I'd be damned if I would be comfortable sleeping with any of them fools around. It's a hell no for me. Of course, there were a couple people who didn't sleep at all because they were just nervous about what would happen if they fell asleep. And you had an inmate by the name of Dre who was going around pranking people, hitting people in their sleep. So Miller ends up calling another inmate a cheater while they're playing cards. And of course, that inmate who only looks like he's about 4'11" is ready to fight Miller and actually puts hands on Miller. And you can tell by Miller's reaction, that baby can't fight. He can't fight. And the problem, Miller, is that if you can't fight, stop talking. Just stop it. Randy's like, here we go again. I wonder if Miller just doesn't understand jail politics as far as what you say to people. I don't know if he doesn't understand it or he just doesn't care. What do y'all think? Randy tries to talk to Miller and he has the audacity to give Miller a Bible verse. I'm sorry, Randy, but you getting people beat up by other people because they don't listen, that's not the Christian way. Because Miller didn't listen to Randy, Randy does his passive aggressive stuff and gets in people's ears about go time. It's ready to go. And the next thing you know, some inmate with no teeth, literally no teeth, takes two to Miller's head. Yeah. And that was the end of episode 2. Episode 3, the OGs take control. After getting 2 to the head, Miller doesn't fight back. And I'm sorry, I feel like it's a coward move for people to keep picking on Miller, knowing Miller can't fight back. Miller automatically knows it's Randy that stirred up the physical drama, and he's right. Randy thinks it's cute, and the other inmates are clowning Miller. But after Miller gets his head knocked, they pretty much tell Miller, okay, yeah, well, we knocked you up, but you better not snitch. Miller says this is going to stay between them, and the guy is pretty much like, yeah, okay, yeah, it better stay between us. Oh, man. Miller, though, he looks like he's plotting and he's thinking of a master plan. See, those type of guys that you think won't fight back, they may not fight back with their fist, but they'll fight back another way. The COs come in after the altercation, and immediately the inmates think that, oh crap, after the whole Miller situation, they're about to end this program. But they don't end the program. They do tell them, though, that they are watching them from the cameras, but they give Randy kudos for feeding the inmates, and he actually takes it in like he's doing a great job. And because of that, Randy wants to talk to Miller after he pumped people's head up to fight Miller. Miller says, hey, we need to work together. I honestly think that Miller is trying to put people's guards down so he can do what he needs to do. It's commissary time. Chips and Twinkies equal bargaining and money. Randy washes people's funky clothes for commissary food. And the way that they get creative in those jails with the food that they receive, now I can see why a lot of them end up wanting to go to like culinary school or get into food services when they get out of jail. But I'll be damned, the stuff that they eat don't look appetizing. I don't care what y'all say. And they're making Hooch, and Hooch is jail alcohol. And guess who's up there giving people shots of Hooch? One of the OGs, Squirrel. The one who keeps saying there needs to be rules and authority in the jail. So the youngins can't have coffee sticks, but you can have Hooch. And even Randy is annoyed, and he tells the cameraman that he's annoyed by Squirrel breaking the rules with the Hooch. But he doesn't tell Squirrel. Interesting. Squirrel is drunk at this point, and he's talking to the guys, and I don't think he even realized what he's saying at this point. But in the confessional, he says that what they do in their cell is the police job to regulate. But what they do outside of their cell in the main area, it's their job to regulate. Oh my. Oh my, how the rules change for his benefit. The young kids mess with Miller and pour water on him while he is asleep. And even one of the young guys said that he hoped Miller gets out of there because he is not built for this and he can't protect himself like we can. Miller is upset, of course, that he has water all over his blanket and his bed now. And while he is telling people that he's going to get them back, he's pissed off. One of the guys who punked him earlier is telling him that he needs to chill or else. So, in other words, you don't have a right to be upset for what these young kids did to you. You're doing too much. So, if you end up continuing to do too much, I'm going to fight you. But he doesn't have that energy for the young guys who are messing with Miller. Eastside, he's a little genius in jail. Even with his head being cloudy with substances since he was 8 years old, he has found a very creative way to make tattoo ink in jail so he can do tattoos. I was quite impressed as to how he was able to create ink. I was just like, Eastside, your brain. Like, I can't even imagine the things that you would be able to do if you just get off of the nonsense and go straight. They have another meeting. They don't listen to Randy because they're tired of him. And they damn sure won't listen to Squirrel because Squirrel was just breaking the rules, giving them Hooch. But when Tiny spoke, they listened because Tiny was getting tired of their nonsense. And so at that point, one of the younger inmates was calling Squirrel out and was like, how you going to be telling us we need to follow rules when you was up here handing out Hooch? And of course, Squirrel gets defensive and he's pretty much like, don't worry about me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Pretty much do as I say, not as I do, which no one ever respects that at all whatsoever. So the youngins tell Randy, like, y'all full of it. Like, y'all allow Squirrel to get away with stuff, and Randy says, Squirrel ain't in charge, he's a sponsor. Randy, how about you tell Squirrel that? Tell Squirrel he's a sponsor while you talking to the youngins. Let's see the OGs confront another OG and see what happens. But honestly, I'm feeling the youngins on this. Like, don't tell me what I can't do and you're breaking the rules your damn self. Miller is seen in front of the camera, creating a pokey. And he is showing people the pokey. Sir, you want to get caught. He wanted a way out of the unit and he got what he wanted. Because, of course, the COs caught him and they came in and told him to pack up his stuff and let's go. And so now that he's gotten caught, he wants to file a complaint, and how now everyone in the H unit is trying to blame Miller, saying that his actions messed up the whole entire unit and how now the program can get shut down. But no one is taking responsibility for how they were also treating Miller and how they were talking to him. Don't you just love it? With that being said, that was episode 2 and 3. Again, I am still in. I give both episodes a B plus. Pretty good episode. So with that being said, what did you guys think about these 2 episodes? Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.